Well, hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to my little gardening show. I'm at the garden doing some pruning, just checking on my tomatoes. So I'll take you along and give you a closer look. Now, at face value, everything looks pretty healthy. A lot of green, a lot of growth, things getting bigger. Climbing the trellis nicely, or climbing up these lines that I've got strung to each plant. Overall pretty good. There's one plant I need to redo. Again, that's the one that the rootstock has got snapped away from the plant that storm last weekend. The other issue though, in taking a closer look at these plants that I'm dealing with, is early blight. Like, this looks pretty good, but you come down here and you see that? That's early blight, and it's caused by a fungus that's in the soil. Thrives in wet conditions, and we've had a lot of rain the last 2 weeks. And I think what really hurt these plants is when they got knocked over and basically covered in dirt. I mean, literally most of them were down on the ground. You know, my most recent video was a little bit about that, but I had to shake each plant off and try to get the residue off best I could. And unfortunately, some of the plants are affected by that soil splash. Here's another example of early blight. The other side the same way. Got some early blight on some of the tomatoes here. Now, the early blight, it won't kill the tomato plants, but it will. It can severely limit them. It can affect their production for sure. So I'll have to kind of keep an eye on that. There's some things you can do. One of the most effective things is to just cut off the parts of the plant where, if you see it on the leaves, try to remove that branch, remove that part of the plant to limit the spread of it. Right now it's hot, dry. It's a good day to do some pruning because that way the plants have plenty of time to heal up before the next rain. I am hopeful we'll have a lot of fruit this year in spite of it. Most plants, again, look pretty good, especially the upper growth of a lot of these. And I did already go through here and remove a lot of the blighted leaves. In the future, one of the ways to prevent it would be to make sure that I do the pruning before several days, if not a week, before putting them in the ground, so that way there's no exposed areas on the stem, no wounds on the plant, so to speak. And then try to string them up before big storms and things come. Keep them upright, keep them clean. The other thing I could do is put a mulch down, straw or something, to keep the soil splash at a minimum, make sure there's good air circulation. All those things will help prevent the soil-borne diseases from impacting the plant. Now, there's sometimes, even in spite of all that, if you have blight in the soil, or these organisms in the soil, the plants can still get infected, or it could just be in the air. As air currents move, up north from the south, from the Gulf and all that, and carrying all that, you can still have issues with it. So anyway, those are things that I'll do next year. In the meantime, this year, I'm just going to try to prune the best I can and live with what I got. That's one of the reasons why you plant a lot of everything, so that way if something does get impacted, you're still going to get a decent harvest. So anyway, I'm going to finish up going down the row and check out some other things, and we'll kind of go from there. Well, done stringing up the tomatoes and kind of looking at everything. There was the one plant I showed you earlier. I decided to go ahead and pull it because I've got a greenhouse still full of extras. I probably got 10 or 12 extra tomato plants and other things in there. The other thing too is I just wanted to try and figure out what killed this thing, why it's all wilted. So I'll show you this real quick. So here it is. I mean, it even had a little fruit cluster going on it before last weekend, but everything's all wilted. You know, I left it alone, I watered it, kind of fertilized it to see what would happen. And it's kind of interesting. You look at this rootstock, and here's some new roots coming off the one side, the right side, but nothing off the left. You know, and these roots here, they don't look too good. And so that kind of confirms my suspicion that when the wind knocked these things down, it broke off part of the root mass, or kind of snapped the roots on the one side, and so consequently there wasn't enough root mass to sustain all this top growth, and it was just kind of edging along. Now it was starting to put out some growth here, but with the leaves shriveled like this, it just wasn't making any progress out in the garden. So rather than try to nurse this along for the next month, at this point it is best to just go ahead and pull it out and plop a new plant in that's vibrant and everything, that's about the same size really. And so that's why I planted a Kellogg's breakfast in its place. So anyway, that's just one of the challenges of a gentleman vegetable gardener, right? Looks like it's clouding up a little bit. I'm gonna pack some things up and head home. The kids are gonna be going swimming today, I think, and so Mama's kind of waiting on me to get home. Anyway, I guess that's it for now. Happy Father's Day weekend, and until next time, happy gardening. Bye.